What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and just in, breaking news that hasn't even been reported yet by the news media outlets. I've been scouring the internet. They're not out just quite yet, and that is that today on the Senate floor, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has announced that yesterday and throughout the night coming into today, members of Congress are working on a bipartisan bill to pass and fund more stimulus. And this is your stimulus package and stimulus check update. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the video footage so you can hear it for yourself directly from him. And this is after we saw that yesterday. President Biden came out and said, we need more stimulus funding. Take a look, you guys. Articles coming out like this. Biden receives second pandemic booster as he pleads with Congress for funding. President Biden pressures Congress for emergency pandemic funds. Billions of dollars in aid hang in the balance. And Biden gets his second booster shot and urges Congress to spend more on the pandemic. We can't wait. So you guys, they're saying we need more funding because we're hearing it could be possible that a new wave of the pandemic could be hitting the United States. And they're saying that if we're not prepared and ready, we could take a step back in our fight against the pandemic. Now, this is all happening as well as we're dealing with high gas prices and inflation. And if you missed my video from this morning, you might want to check it out. As we heard from the president, he's going to be announcing today a release of tons of reserves of oil. And also, though, it's likely not going to be enough to battle these gas prices. People are calling to remove the federal gas tax and also add gas stimulus checks. Now, I'll be sure to keep you up to date on that, but you guys, I've got some video footage for you. I'm going to be sharing with you President Biden's announcement from yesterday for more funding, and then today, just coming out, hasn't even been reported yet, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer responding saying a new bill is being drafted at this very moment and is going to be on the way. And we'll see if new faces are going to be coming as well to help give maybe direct assistance to people, for businesses. We will see, but it looks like Congress is working a way to get stuff done. And we're also hearing that they need to do this because this is a midterm election year. And if Democrats want to stay in power, they're going to have to get some stuff done to convince voters to keep them in power. Because if not, we're hearing it's very likely a red wave could be on the way. So with that being said, you guys, let's dive right in. I've got video footage for you so we can get you caught up on the latest. Now, before we dive in, though, if you could do me a quick favor, if you appreciate the updates, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for me. Helps out the channel a ton. I appreciate it. If you like the content, thank you so much. Also, leave your comments. Love to hear your thoughts. Share this out if you think it could help out other people. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, come and join the Ram Fam, totally free. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell to get notified on updates right away. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop onto Instagram, shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. I'll answer any questions that you got. And consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. More content coming on there about starting businesses, investing in real estate, stocks, crypto, all that good stuff in the month of April, which is actually tomorrow. It's flying by. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive right in. I've got video footage, and let's start off with Biden's announcement from yesterday, and then we'll hear a response from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Congress, we need to secure additional supply now. Now. We can't wait as we find ourselves in the midst of another surge to act. It'll be too late. And we also need this funding to continue our efforts to vaccinate the world with commitments we made. It's critical to our ability to protect against new variants. There's no wall you can build high enough to keep out a virus. Congress needs to act now, please. Let me close with this. I've worked so hard to get our lives, all of us have worked so hard to get our lives back. We're summoning every ounce of American resilience, pulled every lever of our government, called upon the goodness, decency, and patriotism of American people. And together we turned an unthinkable pain into an extraordinary progress and purpose. Americans are back to living their lives again. We can't surrender that now. Congress, please act. You have to act immediately. The consequences of inaction are severe. They'll only grow with time, but it doesn't have to be that way. We've proven what we can do when we work together. So I urge Democrats and Republicans to get this done with urgency. Let's stand united. Let's continue to pull together. Let's get this done.
So there you have it, you guys. That was President Joe Biden yesterday urging Congress to pass more funding. Now, as you know, Congress holds the power of the purse, so we're going to be looking to them to see if they can do this in a bipartisan fashion. Right now, with a 50-50 Senate, Democrats would need 50 votes plus an additional 10 from Republicans. But if they're going to be passing anything maybe through the process of reconciliation, it would require that they're just simply unified to pass this through. Now, let's take a look at what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said on the Senate floor today, just a little while ago, in response to this, saying that they're working on it right now. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Madam President.
The Majority Leader.
Okay, first on COVID negotiations. Yesterday, I met with a group of my colleagues, Senators Murray, Coons, Romney, Blunt, Burr, and Graham, for another round of talks as we work towards a bipartisan COVID agreement. We spoke throughout the day. We talked late into the night. Our staffs are continuing talks this morning. The gap has been narrowed greatly, and we're intent on working with Republicans to cross the finish line, because this is vital for our country if, God forbid, a new variant arises in the future, and that's all too likely. We would like considerably more money than our Republican colleagues, but we need to reach 60 votes to get something passed through the Senate, and so we're going to push as hard as we can. When it comes to replenishing COVID response funding, we simply can't afford to kick the can down the road. The White House has been more than clear and more than transparent about the fact that public funds for COVID are at risk of running out. We all know that a possible future variant can quickly undo much of the progress we've made against the virus. So it makes no sense whatever to hold off on COVID funding that we know is very much needed right now. The more we wait, the bigger the problem will be later if, God forbid, a variant hits. The bottom line is this: both sides should work to complete COVID funding soon, because that will mean more vaccines, more therapeutics, and more testing. So we can keep schools and communities open. We can stay back to normal, which we are doing right now. Woe is us if a future variant extends its nasty tentacles across the country and we don't have the resources in place to respond. Woe is us. So again, I'm pleading with my Republican colleagues. Join us. We want more than you do, but we have to get something done. We have to get something done. We will keep working to arrive at a deal in good faith. And we hope our Republican colleagues ultimately join us in supporting a robust enough package to deal with this problem. As I said, we're making good progress. We're getting closer and closer. But the sooner we get this deal done, the better for the country. Cost cutting. It's been a productive few days here on the Senate floor as we pass legislation that will help reduce costs, relieve supply chains, and build on the incredible economic growth we've seen under President Biden. I'm glad to announce that the Senate's on track to pass bipartisan legislation by Senators Klobuchar and Thune to reform unfair shipping practices that are clogging up our ports, diminishing American exports and hurting our farmers, and ultimately hurting consumers. Hurts both ways. When shipping costs go way up as they have, the exports we send over, a lot of it agricultural goods, the imports that come back, a lot of it consumer goods, all are higher price, and Americans pay that higher price. So the bipartisan shipping bill is exactly the sort of thing the Senate should focus on, because it's when there's a logjam at the Port of Los Angeles. It hurts farmers and small businesses in Minnesota and North Dakota and across the country. And it hurts consumers in every corner of the country, from Portland, Maine to San Diego, from Seattle to Miami, New York, and everywhere in between. So I'm glad we're making progress to getting this legislation done. The sooner the better again. The legislation, of course, is not the only step we have taken this week to strengthen supply chains to help lower costs throughout the economy. Earlier this week, the Senate passed a strongly bipartisan jobs and competitive bill in the works for over a year, which will help increase our domestic manufacturing, help address the critical chip shortage, and grow our economy by investing in American innovation. Yesterday, the House passed a motion requesting a conference committee, and the Senate will soon do the same. We're on track to initiating a conference hopefully before the end of this work period. Off the floor, committees held numerous hearings zeroing in on the many dimensions of our lowering cost agenda. To name just a few examples, the Banking Committee held a hearing on Monday on the growing burden of medical debt. It's a problem that is facing so many Americans. The Small Business Committee also held a hearing yesterday exploring the supply chain crisis and its implications for smaller businesses, including struggling restaurants. And today, the Banking Committee is on the matter of seniors who struggle with affordable housing. These are just a few examples of how both off the floor and on, Democrats are continuing our focus on legislation that will lower costs, help American families, and solve the deep and difficult challenges that everyday Americans face to make ends meet. And we're going to keep pushing in the months ahead to translate these ideas into legislation we can consider here in the chamber, as we're doing with shipping right now.
So there you have it, you guys. That was Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and you can hear some of the different pieces of legislation that they're trying to put together right now to deal with supply chain issues. We're also hearing about additional pandemic funding, dealing with gas prices, a lot of stuff going on, and we will see how Congress responds, if they're going to be able to step up to the plate and meet the moment to help out people at this time. Now, whatever unfolds, I will let you know here on the channel. And as I mentioned to you, we have had 4 bills now that have been released by Congress to provide gas stimulus checks, and the White House is currently reviewing them at this time. So we will see. I will keep you up to date here on the channel, and we're going to be waiting to see an announcement from the president about these increased gas prices. So as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you'd like to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. If you want to reach me directly, do so on Instagram at SteveRam3, and consider joining my second channel, Steve Ram Finance, to learn about growing wealth and personal finance. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.